core interest. And this is His Holiness's vision and this is His Holiness's mission in life. So the best way that we can celebrate His Holiness's birthday is that all of us, who are today connected, and also people all over the world, the best way to celebrate, the best gift to His Holiness is to really kind of follow His Holiness's visions and to see how we, each individual, can contribute and can assist in realizing these visions. So this will be the real gift to His Holiness. And finally, once again, thank you very much for organizing His Holiness's birthday. And we all pray that may His Holiness live long, healthy, to serve the humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much both to join us this morning. Thank you very much for the reminders, the greetings for all our online friends that's connected with us this morning. We are very grateful to have you both with us. Thank you so much, Amala. Thank you so much, Mr. Tempala. Thank you. So do continue to join with us. So with now, I would like to take honor to actually introduce the next segment, which will be a birthday greeting from Bantay. So Bantay Belen Wila, who left Sri Lanka for activities to propagate the Dharma activities in Singapore since 1973. So for Bantay himself, he founded the Singapore Buddhist Research Society. And from then, Bantay has actually established the first ever Buddhist library in Singapore. So since then, with this Singapore Buddhist Library, it has been serving the Singapore community, the Buddhist community, with regular Dharma classes, lectures, and also seminars. So with this, with our pleasure to have Bantay with us this morning to share a few words. So Bantay, please.
First of all, I would like to wish His Holiness Dalai Lama a happy birthday on his 85th birthday. His Holiness Dalai Lama is not just a Buddhist leader, he is one of the greatest world Buddhist leader. He has done many work in order to spread teachings of the Buddha in many countries. In other words, I can say in the world. About 50 years ago, many people considered Buddhism is a religion spread in Eastern countries. In other words, religion of the East. Of course, there were few Buddhist organizations in the West at that time also, but not known to many people. Anyway, today, Buddhism is a religion which is spreading in the West very strongly. Many countries like United States, England, Germany, Scandinavian countries have a lot of Buddhists in other words, I can say practicing Buddhist. Many Westerners are also very much aware of teachings of the Buddha. Some of them have become followers of Buddhism. Some of them are just appreciate teachings of the Buddha and keen to learn more and more about Buddhism. This situation, in a way we can say, spreading of Buddhism in the world is mainly due to world Buddhist leaders like Dalai Lama. His approach towards other religions also well known. He has encouraged Buddhist community to appreciate and practice tolerance towards all other religions. In that way, I can say, for the religious tolerance, Dalai Lama has contributed a great support, great service. On the other hand, he has won the respect and appreciation of other Buddhist sects also, either Theravada or Mahayana. Buddhist sects also appreciate what Dalai Lama has done in order to spread words of the Buddha. Before ending my message, I would like to say his personality also done a very important part to attract non-Buddhist to Buddhism and to pay attention towards studying Buddhism. I have noticed many people have gone to visit Dalai Lama. They all have gone back with a lot of happiness, and they remember Dalai Lama's or His Holiness Dalai Lama's great compassion and kindness. So, celebrating 85th birthday of Dalai Lama is a very important occasion. On this special occasion, I would like to wish His Holiness Dalai Lama a happy birthday and good health and long life. Thank you.
Bantay, thank you so much for the greetings and the segments that you have shared with us. So next, what I would be doing is that we would be showing performance around different countries of Asia for the next 1 hour. So we would be going through to the different cameras like in India, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, with the different performance. So next up, I would like to introduce our Tibetans in India. So right now, all of them are actually all situated in Dar es Salaam. So this is Sonam and his band. So Sonam and his band members, as you can see, all of them are dressed very smart and handsome in the traditional Tibetan costume. So this whole team members are coming together to perform a song piece for us titled The Song of Unity. So for the Song of Unity, it symbolizes the union of all sentient beings coming together, life after life. So this is a very important song to actually remind all of us, for us to remember that we will grow and progress further as the going gets tougher. And with united as one, may all sentient beings able to be free from all sufferings and life after life. And with this, we'd like to take the opportunity for each of our Tibetan friends to introduce themselves, where are they from, their hometown, their region, and also the instruments they have prepared for today's performance. So Sonam, would you like to start off with the introduction first?
Thank you, everybody. My name is Sonam and I'm from Amdo region. So I'm gonna play mandolin today. Thank you.
Yesterday, my name is Pujung. I'm from Vietnam region. I am play Ramye. Thank you.
Hi, Tashidile. My name is Yarbo. I'm from Amdo region. I'm gonna play mandolin.
Tashidile. My name is Sitam. I am come from Amdo. Yeah, I play guitar. Thank you.
Tashidele. My name is Losang. I'm from Kham region. I play piano.
Happy birthday to His Holiness.
Thank you so much, Sonam, Ban, and your team. I will mute everyone's mic. I think we can give them a round of applause. Right? Thank you so much.
Yay!
Thank you so much for the Tibetan team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you,
Yay.
guys. Thank you.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Right. So right now, I think we will move on to another part of Asia to actually see what they have prepared for us. So right now, I would like to bring everyone to Thailand. All right. So Thailand, in this piece, they have actually prepared this northern folks music, which is titled "The Waving Castle." All right. So in this waving castle piece, they have prepared a few traditional Thai instruments like the salo, commonly known as the solo, suan, the flute, and the drum. So this is done by this band named the Seed and the Soil Youth Group. So our youth group have chosen this Northern Folks music with its original name as the Royal Highness Song, which was actually played only in the royal residence in the Northern Thailand Kingdom. But this music was so pleased that all the royal officials actually dance along the moment they hear this music. So this song was then being renamed as the Waving Castle with the hope and the blessing that there would be the spread of happiness and joy to every single one who listened to this song. So with right now, I will bring everyone to Thailand to actually listen into this Waving Castle. Thank you so much, Thailand. So I hope you enjoy the performance. So you can see that our youth in Thailand has rehearsed for this piece. So thank you so much for your dedication to His Holiness' birthday today from Thailand. So right now, we would like to move on to the next destination in Asia. So we will move on to a live streaming now to Vietnam. So our Vietnam team has prepared this song and dance performance titled The Prayers for the Long Life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama by the Snow Lotus Foundation Vietnam. So this is the first Vietnamese song that is being composed from the short version of the Long Life Prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which was actually being translated into Vietnamese by Hong Nu, a student of Lama Zomba Rinpoche. So this song carries a typical Vietnamese melody and characteristic with the wish to offer to His Holiness the following dedication. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Transit Tianjin Getso, may you please remain until samsara ends. So with this, I would like to pass on the stage, as you can see, to Vietnam, our Vietnamese team. Vietnam, please.
Your Holiness, happy birthday from Vietnam. We wish you always with good health and long life for the benefit of all sentient beings. Yeah. Nơi miền núi tuyết vây quanh có suối nguồn an lạc của mọi sự tốt lành, là bậc tối thắng quan thế ơn đang xin kia số. Xin thầy ở lại cõi thế cho đến khi tận diệt luân hồi, cho đến khi tận diệt luân hồi, cho đến khi tận diệt luân hồi, cho đến khi tận diệt luân hồi. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Nơi miền núi tuyết vây quanh có suối nguồn an lạc của mọi sự tốt lành, là bậc thắng quan thế ơn lại cho đến khi tâm tận diệt luân hồi cho đến Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani
Thank you so much, Team Vietnam. I would unmute everyone so you can give your claps to all of them. Okay, so a round of applause. Thank you so much, Vietnam, our Snow Lotus Foundation Vietnam team members. Thank you so much. Right. So with this, so just now we have traveled to India, Thailand, Vietnam. So now we will bring it back to Singapore. So Singapore, we also have prepared something, especially by our very well-known Andy. So for the local in Singapore who have very much, may have heard Andy on TV, on Gekai. So Andy today will bring us a Dharma song titled in Chinese, 阿弥陀佛在心间. So in English, it means that may Amitabha be always be in my heart, right? So Andy, I can see you very smartly dressed up for today. So over to you with an introduction. Thank you. We can't hear you, Andy. Your mic is on mute. Yeah. So you unmute yourself first. Let's see.
Give me a moment. Okay, can you hear me?
Very good. Thank you so much, Andy.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good day, everyone. Greetings from Singapore. Okay, of course, we'd like to take this opportunity to wish His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama a very happy 85th birthday. Okay, may you be always be blessed with a good health and a long life, and definitely for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, so I'd like to dedicate this song to all of you online as well. Okay, a Chinese Dharma song called 阿弥陀佛在心间. Okay, 阿弥陀佛在心间，他叫我不贪不厌。阿弥陀佛在心间，抛开红尘多杂念。不管路艰辛，我愿意去迈开大步勇向前。不管路遥远何时到终点，我会完成这心愿。阿弥陀佛在心间，快乐在人世间。阿弥陀佛在心间， 他叫我不谈苦业。阿弥陀佛在世间，抛开红尘多杂念，不管路艰辛，我愿意去迈开大步勇向前。不管路遥远何时到终点，我会完成这心愿。一首佛曲《阿弥陀佛在心间》送给线上的所有的好朋友们，当然也要祝福我们的这个达赖喇嘛尊者呢能够平安健康长寿。不管路艰辛，我愿意去迈开大步勇向前。不管路遥远何时到终点，我会完成这心愿。阿弥陀佛在心间，快乐在人世间。阿弥陀佛在心间，逍遥于人世间。阿弥陀佛在心间，我坚守这份信念。希望一首温馨的佛曲能够温暖每个人的心灵，好不好？大家一起的来祝愿我们的达赖喇嘛尊者能够永久住世。这个谢谢 ，Thank you。
Thank you so much, Andy。很棒，
很好听啊，很好听。
哇，很多 fans。
Thank you, thank you.
So very popular performer here. Thank you so much, Andy, for your performance.
谢谢大家 ，Thank you， 阿弥陀佛。
Right, thank you so much for this
you,
Ami
bye-bye.
陀. Thank you. So right now, we will move on. Okay, so thank you. Let me mute everyone. Okay, so everyone is muted. So good. Okay, so very good. So we have went through India, Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore is done. Right now, I want to move on to Indonesia. So our Indonesia team has prepared a very special cultural dance. So it's the Indonesian harvest dance. So for Indonesia team, this harvest dance is from the Daya. So it's by the Dhamma Katra temple. So Dhamma Katra temple is actually seated in the North Kalimantan. So this harvest dance reflects togetherness, cooperation of the community in the process of planting seeds, taking care of the plants, and harvesting the rice. And with this Thanksgiving dance for the harvest, the community welcomes the harvest by performing this harvest dance. So you can also observe later, there is some movements in this dance which actually depicts the figure of the goddess Siri. So for the goddess Siri, it's a manifestation of a goddess who show a lot of compassion to all the luminous sentient beings with a grace. So what you can see right now, we have already successfully live streamed to Indonesia, North Kalimantan, the Dhamma Katra Temple. With this, I would like to present the team of Dhamma Katra Temple with this harvest dance. The Indonesian team, please.
Happy birthday from Indonesia. We wish a very happy birthday. Long life His Holiness.
Thank you so much, our friends from the Dharmakatra Temple from the North Kalimantan. Thank you so much. So I have unmute everyone. Can I give everyone can actually unmute yourself? Give a round of applause to our team Indonesia. Thank you so much. So just to let everyone know that yes, we will be doing the live streaming of His Holiness teaching later at Singapore time 1 p.m. So continue to stay on to this channel. So that will be happening in Singapore time 1 p.m. So not to worry. So with this, we still have lined up a few more performance from you. All right. So right now, I would like to bring everyone to the next country. So the next country will be Malaysia. All right. So in Malaysia, we have our Buddhist organization by the name of the Kuan Yin Contemplative Order, KYC in short. So KYC was being set up since year 1979 with many Buddhist classes, activities, and community services being organized for their fellow Malaysian Buddhist community. So for today, we are very honored to have Shifu Kwang Min, the founder of KYC, to share with us a few words on behalf of KYC. So Shifu Kwang Min, I can see you on camera. Would you like to say a few words?
Your Holiness, on behalf of the Kuan Yin Contemplative Order, along with the Buddhist community of my country, Malaysia, I would like to send our warmest birthday greetings to Your Holiness the Dalai Lama on this very happy occasion of your 85th birthday. Your Holiness, to commemorate this joyous occasion, members of our Kuan Yin Order would like to present the offering of these sacred hymns for your long life, good health, and listening pleasure. Please enjoy this heartfelt offering of ours to you. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Thank you so much, Shifu Guanming. So let me introduce. So for our KYC members, they actually prepared a lineup of a total of 6 hymns for today. So they are specifically the following: the 2-arm white robe Kuan Yin Puja, followed by the 4-arm Charanzit Putishawa, 18-arm Triti Kuan Yin Puja, the 1,000 hands, 1,000 eyes Avalokiteshvara, 宝光示爱观音菩萨, and lastly, they will wrap up with a birthday hymn to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So with this, I will present to you the KYCO members. You may proceed now. Thank you. Thank you so much, Team Malaysia KYC. Can feel all the love. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the 6 hymns you have prepared for today's occasion. So we still have some time before the teachings by His Holiness the Dalai Lama at 1 p.m. Singapore time. So with encore and demand, popular demand from our online friends. So right now we would invite back our Tibetan friends from India, Dar es Salaam. Hello, Sonam and band members. So for now, I understand you prepare a special piece for us, which is a special song comprises of voices of 3 different regions in Lhasa. right? So with this, your song comprises voices from the Putala Palace, the South Lhasa of Yambu Ihaka, and also followed by the voices Amdu. So with this, Sonam and team, I will pass the stage to you for your performance. Thank you so much, Sonam.
So today, you have organized this event and you have requested me. So since the first time I visited Taiwan, I've been feeling Taiwan and Taiwanese very close to my mind. And many of the friends are my good friends. Old-time friends, I think it means. So to visit different places, of course, I have to depend on many circumstances, but in my mind, everyone in Taiwan, young and old, are in my mind all the time. And today, we are meeting online, and I have and I'll be giving teaching on the 8 verses of mind training by Langri Thangpa, Geshe Langri Thangpa. And this text is a short text on the training of mind for the altruistic spirit of enlightenment. Basically, this text called the 8 verses on training the mind has its source or is based on the Master Nagarjuna's Ratnavali, in which there are towards the end of the text there are 20 verses. Where it says that it's just like the elements, like earth and so forth, may I become a sustenance or enjoyment for limitless sentient beings and so forth. And as long as even a few sentient beings remain without reaching enlightenment, may I remain until then. For their sake, even after my enlightenment. So these Master Nagarjuna's Ratnavali, or the precious garland, has these verses, and these are the basis for the 8 verses of mind training. And in Tibet, after Master Atisha Dipankara Shijana came to Tibet, the teachings on training the mind were brought then. Before that, Master Chandarakshita, who was a top scholar of Nalanda Monastic University at that time and was a follower of Master Nagarjuna, so he came, and then afterwards Master Atisha came to Tibet, and the followers of Master Atisha were known as Kadampas, which means taking even a single letter of the scriptures into the practice and path. And so Master Langri Thangpa, whose real name was Dorje Singhe, was someone who practiced bodhicitta all the time. And so, he, because of his practice of bodhicitta all the time, he was also said to cry all the time because of thinking of the suffering of sentient beings. And he was therefore, because of his crying all the time, he was known as the Langri Thangpa, who had a very stern, a sad face and always crying. And so today I will give you the explanatory transmission of this text, the 8 verses on training the mind. Regarding bodhicitta, for the last 50 years or so, based mainly on Bodhisattvacharya Avatara, I have been reflecting on bodhicitta all the time, but I never remain maintain a serious face like Langri Thangpa himself. Because in the Bodhisattva Charyavatara itself, it is mentioned that you should invite sentient beings with smile. And so, because of that, unlike Langri Thangpa, who had a serious demeanor, I practice bodhicitta all the time and also recite this text on a daily basis, these 8 verses. So, of course, I am a follower of Langri Thangpa himself, yet I always smile and laugh. So this is based on, I have a source for being having this kind of a jolly face in Bodhisattva Charyavatara. So wherever you look at, all sentient beings are, I consider them as my friends and have affection and compassion towards them. And on top of that, it is coupled with the understanding of the view of emptiness, and therefore this gives me peace of mind. In the in Madhyamaka Avatara by Chandrakirti,
다동 공부를 또 배삼된 이미지 조금에 벌어 인생을 깨버시 대공 대시 숭지산전 정신이 멀리 보노로 파버시 왕이스 엔티슈데 그즈드니 소양가고 제교고 강배제고
at the end of the 6th chapter,
계획연대 자서 바로 초등로서 뭐네 진짜 사무스탄이 되잖아요.
it is mentioned that the bodhisattvas use the 2 wings of understanding of the emptiness and bodhicitta. Fly, the swans, the kings of swans of the bodhisattvas fly to the other shore of the ocean, of the qualities of Buddhahood. And so, because of this practice of bodhicitta, as it is said in the Bodhisattva Charyavatara 3rd chapter, today in front of the protectors of all beings, I invite all sentient beings to their state of Sugatahood, and in the meantime to the temporary happiness. And therefore, gods, demigods, and others should be joyful. And therefore, so because of the practice of bodhicitta, I always remain peaceful in my mind. So in front of today, in front of all the protectors, I invite all beings to the state of Sugatahood, Buddhahood, and in the meantime to the temporary happiness. Therefore, gods and demigods, be joyous. And so I wonder, when I think about the tantric deities having very fierce look, whom do they actually show their wrath? And so, this text on the 8 verses is a text for the practice of bodhicitta. And so, to the beginning of the text, the first 7 verses show the bodhicitta, practice of bodhicitta, and then the last verse where it says, may all this remain undefiled by the stains of 8 mundane concerns, and so forth, shows the practice of the view of emptiness. And so, the first verse I for the benefit of sentient beings, all sentient beings. When you think about, when you come across this word I, you should think who you are. Where am I? What am I? So, when I get up in the morning, I reflect on this verse from Mula Madhyamaka Karika, where it says, not the aggregates, it is not the aggregate, nor separate from it, it is not in the aggregates, nor the aggregates are in it, it does not possess, the Tathagata does not possess the aggregates, what else is Tathagata? And so I switch the Tathagata with I. So, not one, not different from the aggregates, not in the aggregate, and I'm not in the aggregate, and who am I? So, every day when I wake up, I do reflect on this verse and try to search for this I. So you cannot, when you try to search for the identity of the I, you cannot find anything that you can point your finger at. And so, as it is said in the Madhyamaka Avatara, when you try to search for the self in these 7 different ways, in the sevenfold, through the sevenfold reasoning, you cannot find anything that you can pinpoint as being the I or the self. But the I does exist, the self does exist by way of the designation. So here, why do we do this kind of analysis is because we have, we create or develop this inappropriate mentation, thinking of an independent I, and on the basis of that inappropriate attention or thinking, then the destructive emotions such as attachment, anger, and so forth arise. As Master Nagarjuna's Mula Madhyamaka Karika says, the attachment, anger, and confusion arise from this kind of inappropriate thinking. And the inappropriate thinking also arises because of the fundamental ignorance about which holds on to some kind of independent existence in this. And also Master Nagarjuna's same text says that the karma and delusions arise from this kind of conceptions, and they in turn arise from the fabrication, and that is ended by emptiness. So when you think of yourselves as I am this, I am Chinese, I'm Taiwanese, I'm Tibetan, I mean, of course, when you try to search for that I that you think of as if it is it is governing or ruling over your body and mind. Where is it? I'm talking to you now. Where is that I that you think of as the listener or to my speech? Of course, it is not the case that the I or the self, yourself, does not exist. But what you have to understand is that when you have a sense of an I, there is this sense of an I which is independent, concrete, independent from the body and the mind. That kind of I or self does not exist. And so, because of this notion of an I which is independently existing, we have an inappropriate mentation. And because of that kind of a solid, independent existence of an I, you have the inappropriate mentation, and that in turn gives rise to attachment, anger. And so the notion of an independent I is the basis for our negative emotions, these mental afflictions. And so if you are able to reduce that clinging to the I, then it will help to reduce your anger, attachment, and so forth. And consequently, it will reduce the problems that we create in the world. So when you look for the I, search whether this I exists or not, and you have to be able to come to the conclusion that this independently existing I is not there. And therefore, in Buddhism, it is considered very important to use logic and reasoning to delve into the nature of things. So in the Pali tradition, of course, they mainly use scriptural quotations, whereas in the Nalanda tradition, the Sanskrit tradition, which we as Tibetans and use the people of Taiwan and the Chinese ethnicity also follow this tradition. So we all are follower of the Nalanda tradition, and particularly the follower of Master Nagarjuna, the great glorious master. So we call him Longsu Pusa. So as followers of Master Nagarjuna, regarding the profound path, stages of the path, which is based on the ultimate reality, we have the texts such as Mula Madhyamaka Karika and Madhyamaka Avatara by Master Chandrakirti. And so these two texts, Mula Madhyamaka Karika by Master Nagarjuna and Madhyamaka Avatara by Chandrakirti, are the two main, the supreme texts for understanding of emptiness, the ultimate reality. And I always keep these two texts on my desk, on my table. And so that is with regards to pertaining to the profound path which is for attaining the wisdom dharmakaya at the Buddha stage, when you reach the Buddha stage of Buddhahood. And so with regard to the view of emptiness, through this understanding of emptiness, you'll be able to understand that the delusions that are within us can be ended. As it is said in Mahayana Uttara Tantra, that all of us have the Buddha nature. So when you think along these lines of Madhyamaka text, then you'll be able to find that it is possible that I can overcome and the mental afflictions completely. As it is said, these are adventitious. And the quality of clarity and cognitive nature of the mind is naturally within us in the mind. Though the self does exist, and everyone who has a sense of an I or self, they are same in not wanting suffering, but wanting happiness. And suffering and happiness have to do with mental states. And so it is mainly, it has mainly to do with these happiness and suffering, have mainly to do with our mind. And with regard to happiness, the mental happiness is the most significant. And so the followers of Master Nagarjuna and Nalanda tradition must know that it's most important to transform our mind. So the root of our happiness is in the mind itself. So today, the world is mainly attracted towards external development, but except for the Indian traditions, which is the only tradition where we use the mind to attain happiness, whereas other traditions mainly are based on praying to a creator God. And so by transforming our mind and seeking happiness through the transformation of our mind exists only in the Indian tradition, where there is a teaching of non-violence, not harming, which is based on karuna or compassion, great compassion or compassion. And so for these have existed in India for the last at least 3,000 years. And Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, also practiced these Indian traditions. And after attaining enlightenment, from his own experience, he taught the view of selflessness. And he mainly emphasized reason and logic and not just scriptural citations. As he said, monks and learned ones, just as gold is tested by burning, cutting and rubbing, likewise you should examine carefully or thoroughly examine my teaching and my words, and then accept it, not because you have devotion to me. And so the Buddha himself has stated or told us that we should check his teaching, and then through our examination, when we find some teaching true and then also beneficial to our mind, when we practice them, then you should practice it. In Tibetan, we have 100 volumes of the translated words of the Buddha and over 200 volumes of the translated exegesis of the Indian commentaries. And so all these emphasize using logic and reason to make transformation within our mind. So, with regard to that, if we actually examine how these negative emotions arise in us, what are they? I mean, you'll be able to see that they do not have any sound basis, whereas compassion and bodhicitta and so forth have the logical basis. And they can be increased through and developed further and further through our practice. So the strong attachment and anger and so forth do feel very strong. But when you try to look for their root, you'll not be able to find them having any sound basis. And therefore, these negative emotions and ignorance arise through confusion, whereas they may be very strong because of our habituation with them over countless lifetimes, and they do not have any sound basis and logic to prove their truth as such, whereas compassion and a view of emptiness and so forth have a sound logical basis, and therefore you can develop them further and further through practice. And so when we talk about practicing the dharma, it's not just it should not just remain at the level of prayers as you Chinese people do say Amitabha, pray to Amitabha and so forth. But as human beings, since we have this kind of a unique brain and unique intelligence with which we can actually examine what is right and wrong, and through the help of this intelligence, we should be able to pierce through the negative emotions. So with the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. So all sentient beings are the sentient beings of the three realms of existence who do not want suffering but want happiness, and we also have the connection over many lifetimes with these all sentient beings in the universe. And so we do consider compassion and bodhicitta very precious, but how do they arise in us? They arise in relation to sentient beings who are suffering. So, with the sentient beings as our focus, since there are these sentient beings who are suffering, therefore compassion can arise in us and also can be developed infinitely. So, the highest aim, to achieve the highest aim, with the determination to achieve the highest aim means highest aim is the attainment of the four Buddha bodies. Based on these sentient beings, and with coupled with that of the view of emptiness, we attain that the four Buddha bodies, and therefore you say, "May I hold dear at all times." And then the second verse, as it is said in the Ratnavali, the precious garland, where I quoted certain lines, and one of them says, "May I be able to, may all the sufferings of all sentient beings fructify upon me, and may all the happiness and good things of myself fructify upon all sentient beings." And so what we are thinking is helping sentient beings. And so in order for, even when we do business, for example, we use some money, and in order to, by using that capital money, we think of making profit. Whereas the negative and the sentient negative emotions, the afflictive emotions, do not help us. It only helps to increase that of the selfish attitude. This extreme self-centered attitude only helps us grow these negative emotions within ourselves. Whereas, and because of that, we are always bound by more problems. Whereas when we think about sentient beings, other sentient beings, and even your suffering becomes small. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. So this is about overcoming our pride and arrogance, because that gives rise to more problems. Whereas if you hold yourself lowly, it helps. You respect others. And then verse number 4. So because we are so habituated with our negative, destructive emotions, even a small catalyst can give rise to a big destructive emotion within us. And so what you should understand is that these destructive emotions always ruin us. And in our day-to-day life, even in dreams, we should be able to check within ourselves whether these destructive emotions arise in us or not. And so these negative emotions arise, the problems are caused by our self-cherishing attitude and also holding on to some kind of a true independent existence in things. And because of that, if we familiarize ourselves with the positive attitudes, in all my deeds may I probe in my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. And so, if you familiarize yourself with these, your mind, you'll be able to reduce these negative emotions. Of course, in Tantra, there is the practice of taking the attachment into path and also anger into path and so forth. But for that, you have to understand the general structure of the teaching of the Buddha, the common teachings. And so, through the tantric practice, we should be able to use our essential drops and use the wind and channels within ourselves. So you should be able to transform them. And so through this knowledge and experience, then you'll be able to see the significance of the tantric practices, where it is said that you use the attachment, anger, and enjoyments into the path, transforming them into the path. Otherwise, without understanding how you can do that, you may misuse the Tantra. So in tantric texts and rituals, in one of Sakya Master's writings, in his prayer to Mahakala shell, so he says that in order to crush one's enemies and take care of those who are on our side, and so forth. So I don't favor this kind of a praise to crush those of our enemies and taking care of those who are near and dear ones. So because we are so used to doing this in our life, it is even extended to the Dharma protectors. So I don't really like this kind of a praise to Dharma protector. So when you have a very strong and powerful practice of controlling your wind energies and channels and the vital drops, then you'll be able to see the significance of these tantric practices. So without knowing the significance of Tantra, you will actually use the Tantra for ruinous purposes. When I see beings of unpleasant characters and so forth, so generally you should see sentient beings as pleasant, attractive, and have compassion and love towards them, but should not be tossed by. But you should not be tossed by your attachment and anger and so forth. And so when the sentient beings are tossed by these negative emotions, you should feel more compassionate and loving towards them. And when others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. So, to all the mother sentient beings who are as infinite as the space, you should have compassion towards them even when they provoke anger and so forth within yourself. And so you should use that opportunity to increase your experience of compassion, love, and bodhicitta. And in the Bodhisattva Charya Avatara, it is said that the enemy is your teacher of patience. So in order to practice compassion well, to be successful in the compassionate practice of compassion, you should have patience. In order to have patience, you should you would be able to practice patience when there are those who provoke you anger, who actually talk behind us. And therefore, practice comes because there are those who we consider as enemies, who always think of doing something bad to us, talking behind us, and so forth, backbiting, and so forth. And particularly when someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hope mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. So those to whom you have helped, actually, ideally, they should be actually the ones who should repay your kindness. But when they do something bad to us, of course, if we actually talk about a legal system, when you have done something good to somebody and then the person actually responds with negative attitudes and negative things instead of gratitude, I mean, you have some reason to prosecute them as or something like that, and whereas here you are saying that you regard him still as precious teacher, and so whatever virtues you have collected, you should dedicate them for the benefit of all sentient beings, and particularly those who are close to us, the humans. And then in brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. And then verse number 8, may all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusion-like. So whether it's internal experience of pain and pleasure or the external objects, all of them appear as if they have some kind of objective existence, independent objective existence. The quantum physics concept of quantum physics is quite helpful, where they differentiate between appearance and reality. Apparent things appear as if they have some objective existence. Our near and dear ones and the adversaries and enemies and so forth do appear to us as if they have some objective independent existence, but if you actually search for their identity, whether they exist that way or not, you will not be able to find that. So because the so-called enemies and our near and dear ones appear as if they have some kind of objective independent existence, we grow anger or attachment towards them. Whereas if you go beyond that appearance and try to look for their existence, you will not be able to find anything being this and that. So the mental afflictions, the destructive emotions arise on the basis of the appearance. It is very clear, though there is such an appearance of beings and things and so forth as if they have some objective existence, yet if you try to analyze them, for example, the beings into their body and the mind, and then further into their parts and so forth, you have nothing that you can pinpoint as being this and that person and so forth. And therefore, on the basis of appearance, we grow attachment or anger and hatred. So this is clear. Some friends of mine have come to notice that some quantum physicists have said that when you understand quantum physics and when you feel convinced about what quantum physics says, that there is no objective existence, it helps to reduce your destructive emotions. And so what Buddhism says is that the negative, destructive emotions arise on the basis of appearance, with the notion that the things have some kind of a solid, concrete, and independent existence in and of themselves. And because of that, the negative emotions arise. Whereas in the Madhyamaka texts, particularly like Mula Madhyamaka Karika, as I quoted the lines, nothing exists objectively. So when you are able to feel convinced that things do not exist the way they appear to me, and that helps to reduce that clinging to some kind of a solidity and independent existence in things. And therefore, things do not exist the way they appear to us, and therefore they are like illusions. And may I, recognizing all things as illusion, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. And so the bondage is this, the clinging and the grasping at some kind of a concrete, solid existence, independent existence in things. And therefore, and devoid of that clinging, may I be released from the bondage. So for the bodhicitta, the conventional bodhicitta practice of it, Master Shantideva's Bodhisattvacharya Avatara is the best text. And for the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the middle way view, Master Nagarjuna's Mula Madhyamaka Karika, the fundamental treatise of the middle way, and Master Chandrakirti's Madhyamaka Avatara, entering the middle way, and its auto-commentary are really great texts. And when you read these texts and reflect on their meaning, you'll even wonder, how do these appearance, on the basis of appearance, this kind of a clinging to some kind of an independent objective existence happen to me? And so, pay more attention to Bodhisattvacharya Avatara by Shantideva and read it more. It's really marvelous text for practice of bodhicitta, particularly equaling and exchanging self and others. And in the 8th chapter, it teaches. And then the 6th chapter on patience. So you should study these two texts more often. So it'll help you. When I was in Tibet, I had felt that bodhicitta, of course, is great, but it's very difficult to practice. But after receiving teaching on Bodhisattva Charya Avatara, then I can say that I have some kind of an experience which comes when I put some effort in it. And so this happens to me. I cannot say I have this effortless experience of bodhicitta yet. And then for the ultimate bodhicitta, the view of emptiness, Master Chandrakirti's Madhyamaka Avatara and Mula Madhyamaka Karika, so these reasonings that Master Chandrakirti uses are very powerful, where he says that if things were to have some kind of a stable inherent existence, then the Arya beings, wisdom, which is the equipoise on that of the ultimate nature of things, would be destroyer of entities and so forth. And so these are very powerful reasons you should think, reflect on. So tomorrow is my birthday. I have said that the best gift you can give to me on my birthday would be if you could recite Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, the 6-syllable mantra of Avalokiteshvara. So while you may recite this mantra from your mouth, but if your mind is distracted somewhere else, it would be like, just repeating money, 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 the English word, money, money, money. So in this mantra, Om is the beginning of the mantra. It's made up of 3 letters, A, U, and Ma, which represents our body, speech, and mind. And on the basis of these 3, body, speech, and mind, there is a self or an I. So at this stage, our body, speech, and mind are more or less used for, are influenced by, under the influence, strong influence of destructive emotions, whereas through familiarization with the path, what will happen is these impure body, speech, and mind that we have as sentient beings, and which mainly the mind, so that they will be purified and you reach that of the mind of a Buddha, and you become a Buddha, Arya being. So on the basis of the pure body, speech, and mind, there is the Buddha, which is designated. And on the basis of impure body, speech, and mind, we have sentient beings. And so how do you transform these impure body, speech, and mind into pure body, speech, and mind at the resultant stage of Buddhahood? And so how does that process happen is mentioned through the mani, and which represents that of the bodhicitta. And Padma is lotus, which is wisdom, symbolizes the wisdom. And Hung means combining these 2, bodhicitta and the view of emptiness. So Hung represents or symbolizes this union of the bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness. And so On my birthday tomorrow, 1,000, saying 1,000 times this mantra 1,000 times is easy, isn't it? And so you should recite 1,000 at least 1,000 times each. So if each person could recite 1,000, 10 persons would make it 10,000, and then that would also multiply with more number of beings, 100,000 and million and so forth. And so, if you could recite this mantra, I mean, of course, you would be able to create some virtues within yourself. And so, you would be practicing bodhicitta, and as a practitioner of bodhicitta, you who practice the bodhicitta and the view of emptiness, and teach others as well. So through the merit that you gain through the recitation of the 6-syllable mantra, if you could dedicate it for my long life, of course, it would be helpful for me to remain. If you could dedicate it for me to live 110 years, till 110 years, and it would be good for everyone. So as the political scenario changes, I may be able to visit Taiwan. I hope for that, but it's difficult to say this at this point of time. But whether I physically am able to come there or not, my mind, spirit, in my spirit, I am with you. So please stay healthy.
Okay, thank you very much to His Holiness discourse on the 8 verses of mind training. So right now there is the live streaming to the Taiwan team. So as they are preparing the birthday celebration for His Holiness. So thank you so much. You have spent this 2.5 hours with us. So with the reminder from His Holiness on the 8 verses of mind training is searching the I within us. I think this is a good reminder for us to remember on the positive attitude, most importantly in the current times, on our body, speech, and mind. So remember on the homework of the 6 syllables mantra of Avalokiteshvara. So with a full dedication to His long life of His Holiness and to all sentient beings, may them swiftly be able to eliminate all sufferings. So with this, I would like to bring the attention live feed to our Tibetan Buddhist Center. I would like to introduce Jimba Gyatso Perry. So Jimba Gyatso Perry is our founder of Tibetan Buddhist Center Singapore, and he is also a representative of the Southeast Asia office for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So Jimba, I can see you online. Can you say a few words for today?
Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. So, hi, good morning, all. Dear our special guests Amala and Tambala, also dear Venerable, on behalf of all the Southeast Asia students, wish His Holiness a very, very happy 85th birthday. Wish you have a long, long life to guiding us and leading us to the correct path. Also, on behalf of coordinator of His Holiness office, really thanks the Tibetan Buddhist Center in Singapore and all the EXCO and the Asia teaching organizer around from all the Southeast Asia. Really thanks for your support and your hard work. Hope we can work together, fulfill His Holiness the 4 commitment in around the world or to around the world. Thanks Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
So I think with this, thank you so much, Jimba. In Tibetan Buddhist Center, they also have prepared a small celebration with a cake offering, as you can see right now on the screen. Right, so this is a cake offering on behalf of everyone. With this, we would sing a song, a happy birthday song, and I will unmute everyone to actually sing this song together. Okay, so so 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to His Holiness. Happy
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Everyone, congratulations. Yes. So we have a longevity cake you can see. So it's meant for a dedication for His Holiness, long life, right? Okay, so with this, I will, as a closing, we have a cutting cake first. So can we have our resident teacher, Geshe Yontan, to be on behalf of Tibetan Buddhist Center and everyone online to actually cut the cake. Okay, so your mic is also unmuted, so you can say a few words if you would like to. So you can see that Geshe Yontan is cutting the cake and offering on behalf of all of us here. Okay, so you can see the cakes. So from all of us, okay, we are presenting this cake. So, okay, as a closing, we have a special dedication song composed and sung by Imi Oi from Malaysia. So Miss Imi Oi is our Chinese Malaysian producer who composes music on Buddhist chant and mantra in Sanskrit, Pali, Tibetan, and Mandarin. So leaving you with this song to close off our full 2.5 hours virtual celebration. So thank you very much, all of you. Right now we have over 260 people still with us on Zoom, and I think close to 100 people still with us on Facebook. So thank you very much to all participants, and hope all of us from Tibetan Buddhist Center wishing everyone well, healthy, and happy always. I hope you have enjoyed today precious program that's being planned and rehearsed many times by the various countries in Asia. So we look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care. So for now, let's enjoy this dedication video. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for staying on, right? So just before we end, we have a surprise for our special guest Amala. There is a surprise for you. Okay, so Amala, you are celebrating your 80th birthday on the 7th of July. So all of us from the different part of the world, we would like to wish Amala a happy birthday from all of us, your online friends. So with this, Jingbang, you have some words for Amala.
Amala 저런 자동 구이 충분히가 이 모티베이션이 아마 다시 아마라 충분히 센터 다시 들려요. Happy birthday Amala.
Thank you.
Birthday, Amala.
Sing a song together. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Okay,
Bye. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
You can do a closing and we will close off today's virtual session. Jingban, do you want to say a few words? We will close off today's session.
Oh, thank you everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for your participation. Goodbye. We hope to see you again. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.